Good morning, sir. Myself Sandhya and I am from CSMC. Today my topic is about two-dimensional array. Coming to the introduction to two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array are data structures that stores data in a grid format. They consist of a rows and columns allowing for the organization of a data in a matrix form. Coming to the structure, it is widely used in various applications including an image processing and a game development. Coming to the definition and the structure, a two-dimensional array is an essential of an array. Each element can be accessed using two indices representing the row and column. Coming to the syntax, it involves specifying the number of rows and columns during declaration. Here is a code. And coming to the initialization of a two-dimensional array, the number variable holds the address 2D array of int values. Column 0, column 1, column 2, row 0, 1, 2, 3, row 1, 4, 5, 6, row 2, 7, 8, 9. And coming to the declaration of a two-dimensional array, the declaration of syntax varies by programming language but generally includes specifying dimensions. For example, in C++, it includes to be declared as an int array, rows, columns. In a Python, a list can be used to simulate a two-dimensional array. Initialization of a two-dimensional arrays. Initialization can occur at the time of declaration of a afterward. For example, in C++, you can initialize as int array 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In a 2, 1, 2, 3. In a 3, it's a 4, 5, 6. Coming to the in Python, you might initialize it with a list comparison or directly with a nested list. Here is an example array 10, 20, 30, 40. In 10 will assigning as an array 0. In 20 will assigning array as a 1. In 30 array as a 2. In 40 array as a 3. And coming to the in 50 array as a 4. Coming to the accessing elements. Elements in a two-dimensional arrays are accessed using the row and column indices. For instance, array 1, 2 retrieves the element in the second row and in the third column, not the second column, in the third column. It is crucial to ensure that indices are within the bounds to avoid errors. Here 100, 100, 200 in a PTR plus 1, PTR plus 2, PTR plus 3, 4, and again here 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming to the common operation. Common operators are on two-dimensional array, including traversing, searching, and sorting. Traversing typically involves nested loop to access each element. Searching can be done using algorithms like a linear search or a binary search depending on the structure. Coming to the memory allocation, two-dimensional arrays may be stored in a contiguous blocks of a memory or a separate array. Contiguous storage is more efficient for a cache performance. However, some languages allow for dynamic allocation, which provides flexibility. Example, in a programming language, in C++, two-dimensional array can be declared as an int array 3, 4, and in Java it can be declared as an int array new int 3, 4. In a Python, it can be represented as array 0. How the array will be declared, and assuming A is a 200. And applications of a two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array are widely used in a imaging process to represent pixel data. They are also essential in game development for managing grids and maps. Additionally, they are utilized in scientific computing for a matrix operations. In two-dimensional array, Java is a collection of data elements arranged in a rows and columns. It can be visualized as a table, as a matrix, where data is sorted in cells defined by two indices, one of the row and one of the column. Declaration of a 2D array. The syntax to declare 2D arrays in Java: data type, array name. For example, int matrix, string names. They only declare the array and memory is not allocated. Memory allocation. Memory of a 2D array is allocated with the new keyboard. Matrix new equals to int 3 4. This allocates memory of a 3 rows and a 4 columns. That is 12 elements in a total. Java stores 2D arrays as array of array. Each row is actually a separate 1D array. So technically it is a jagged array allowing rows of a different length initialized to 2D array. There are the two ways to initialize a 2D array. Static initialization. Int matrix 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. In a dynamic initialization, we'll be calling int matrix new int 3 3 matrix 0 0 1 matrix 0 1 2 and so on. Accessing element. Coming to the accessing element, each element in a 2D array is accessed using two indices: matrix row index, column index. Example, int value matrix 2 1. Access the element at third row and the second column, traversing a 2D array. To access all elements of a 2D array, we use nested loops. For int I equals to 0, I greater than matrix dot length I plus plus. For int j equals to 0, j greater than matrix I length j plus plus. System dot out dot println matrix I j and plus and so on. System out dot move to the next line for each row. First we will be taking, it's an example program for this 2D dimensional array. Public static void main. First we will be using public static void main and public static or string arrays int matrix 10 20 30 40 50 60 70 80 90. System dot out dot print 2D array elements will be declaring, and for int I equals to 0 matrix length I plus plus. For int j equals to 0 matrix I length j plus plus. And in system dot out dot print matrix ij. In the system dot out dot print ln. And the features of 2D array or a fixed in the size once declared. Java used as a row measure order to store 2D array. It can be used to create complex data structures and like matrices and grids. Rows can have different lengths. Jagged arrays. Applications of a 2D array: matrix representation and operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication. In the game development, we'll be using the chessboard and the Sudoku and the tic-tac-toe. Storing tabular data, marks of a student's timetables and data tables in scientific computing or a business applications. And they offer a systematic way to store and manage tabular data. With the two indices, they allow for efficient data retrieval and organization. They facilitate operations like a matrix calculates, which are a crucial many applications. Here is an example code. Include stdio.h int main int ij int multiplication dimension 4 3 10 20 30 40 50 60 80 90 100 110 120. For I equals to 0, I greater than 4, I plus plus, and for j equals to 0, j greater than 3 and j plus plus. Print d multiple dimensions ij and return 0, and the program after executing will get a program finished with execute 0. Press enter to console. And the limitations of a two-dimensional array: they require a fixed size of an array, rows and columns, which can lead vast waste of a memory. Inserting or deleting element can be insufficient due to the need for shifting. They may also lead to completely encode for larger dataset compared to the other data structures. And the complexity of assembly of a fixed size rows and squares. Comparing with one-dimensional array. Here topic is about a two-dimensional array, but we are comparing with the one-dimensional array, how it is. In one-dimensional array stores elements in a linear fashion, while two-dimensional array organize them in a grid. Accessing element in one-dimensional array is simpler to single index. However, two-dimensional array provides a more structured way to handle related data. What is an array? A set that shows equal groups in rows and columns. Example 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 12 in that way. And multiple dimensional array. Two dimensional array or a specific case multiple dimensional array. Multiple dimensional array can have three or more dimensional extending that concept. They are useful for more complex data representing such as a 3D graphics. And best practices always ensure proper bound checking when accessing elements to prevent runtime errors, considering user dynamic allocation for a large dataset to optimize memory usage, document the purpose and structure of the array, better code readability and maintainability. Coming to the conclusion, two-dimensional array in Java provides a structured way to store and manipulate data in a grid or a table format by using a nested arrays. Java allows a flexible and a powerful data representation. Understanding how to declare initialize access and traverse the 2D array is an essential for many programming tasks. Two-dimensional array or a fundamental structure in a computer science and a programming. Understanding their properties, operations, and applications is a crucial for efficient coding. With the versatile nature, they remain as an essential tool for development across various domains. Thank you, sir.